In 1854, along a quiet country road in Ohio, a 7-year-old boy named Thomas Edison walked home with a letter clutched tightly in his small hand. His steps were heavy, far heavier than any child's should be. Earlier that day, his teacher had thrust the envelope into his hand and said coldly, "Give this to your mother. Only she is allowed to read it." At home, his mother Nancy was stirring a pot over the stove when he handed her the letter. She opened it. Her hands trembled, and tears fell silently onto the page. Startled, the boy asked, "What did the teacher say?" Nancy wiped her eyes and forced a bright smile. Her voice rang with clarity. "It says you are a genius. The school is too small, the teacher's too limited to teach someone like you. From now on, I will be your teacher." No one knew then that this single, beautiful lie would one day change the destiny of the world. As a child, Edison was what others might call difficult. While other children played marbles, he would stare for hours at the river, mesmerized by the flow of water. One day in class, he stood up and asked, "Why can't we catch the wind?" The principal slammed the desk and declared, "He's the dumbest child in this entire school." But Nancy didn't scold him. Instead, she turned the basement into a laboratory and brought home volumes of the Encyclopedia Britannica. "From now on, I'll be your teacher," she said. "Whatever you want to know, we'll find the answer together." At 12, Edison sold newspapers on the train and used his earnings to buy chemicals for experiments. One day, a mishap sparked a fire. The conductor slapped his glasses off his face and threw him off the train. "Don't ever come back!" Bruised and ashamed, he returned home expecting punishment. But Nancy simply held him close. "I heard you were working on a bottle that glows," she whispered. "So what if you failed?" Franklin was struck by lightning before he discovered the lightning rod. When Edison began working on the electric light, he failed 1,600 times. Late at night, sitting in the dark, he sighed in despair. Nancy walked in holding an oil lamp. "Son," she said softly, "you've already proven that 1,600 materials don't work. That's more extraordinary than success." Those words carried him through to his 2000th attempt, when he finally lit the world. At the time, many of his ideas were ridiculed. Recording sound, making images move. Neighbors whispered, "Why doesn't Nancy stop him?" But Nancy would proudly pin her son's sketches to the wall. "When he was little," she'd say, "he asked why we can't catch the wind. Now he's trying to catch what others can't even see." That's true greatness. The first time electric lights flickered to life on the streets of New York, Edison took his mother's hand and said, "Without you, there would be no light today." Nancy smiled. "I simply believed in a boy who chased stars with his questions. I knew one day he would catch one." In 1896, Nancy passed away. While sorting through her things, Edison discovered that old letter hidden in the back of her wardrobe. When he opened it, his hands began to shake. It didn't say he was a genius. It read, "Your son is mentally deficient. We cannot allow him to return to school." Tears spilled from his eyes. He collapsed to the floor, overcome. Every word his mother had spoken that day had been a lie, a beautiful, selfless lie. In his diary, he wrote, "I was a child abandoned by the school. It was my mother's love that turned me into someone who lit up the world." He planted a cherry tree by her grave and buried his first experiment notebook beneath it. On the first page, he had written, "To my brightest child, your curiosity will change the world." Over his lifetime, Edison secured 1,093 patents and founded General Electric, forever transforming human life. Yet he often said, "The greatest thing my mother taught me wasn't how to invent the light bulb. It was how to believe in the world I saw through my own eyes, even if no one else saw it." Nancy's story reminds us, the best kind of education doesn't suppress a child's strangeness. It protects the light in their eyes. The greatest kind of love is believing in your child, especially when the world does not. These 3 sentences didn't just shape the life of a great inventor. They lit the path for countless parents and children to follow. If you wish to use English short stories to learn English, I recommend you read this set of books. It contains numerous stories and essays, which should assist you in learning more effectively.